Step number one is awareness. Now, those of you that don't know, my name is Scott Haug, and this masterclass is designed based on our energetics system that we have here that's proven with over 1,600 success testimonials and clients thus far. The image that you see in front of you is called the multiverse, parallel realities, multiple worlds theory, whatever you want to call it. And in the universe right now, there are many versions of you that exist, but they look all slightly similar. The first Earth there kind of looks similar to the other ones that follow. But each one of those Earths are slightly different. There's a version of you today that has a lot of money coming in, maybe 10, 20,000 a month. There's a version of you that's bringing a lot more than that, maybe 50, 60, 70,000 a month. And there's a version of you today that's only earning maybe 5,000 a month. Even though you can't see all those, they exist vibrationally. Throw a number 3 into a chat box if that makes sense so far. There's many possibilities. There's many worlds out there, and we can't see them. Maybe we can't even smell them or taste them or touch them, any of our senses. But there are other possibilities out there, what we call vibrational realities, or Thomas Shore called spiritual prototypes. Now, as we get into this, we need to understand that today, for you to get to the 5X space that you want, that next level, that time, financial, and mental freedom, leaving that legacy and bringing your message to the world, doubling, tripling, 5Xing your business if you have one, is all about corresponding to the vibration of desire to experience. Anybody else familiar with the law of attraction, personal development, self-help? Throw number 5 into a chat box if yes. Then you get the idea. Maybe listening to Bob Proctor or Abraham Hicks or the great personal development giants out there of Les Brown or Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Jack Canfield from The Secret. And you kind of get the idea that it takes internal change to unleash something different in your life, a different result, a different level of emotion, a different level of being, a different dream world to enter. Starts within first. And that we have to reprogram our mind, our subconscious. We need to start becoming in harmony with the things that we desire now, starting to change the blueprint of our mind. Essentially, what we're doing here to get you to the 5X space is corresponding vibration. I want you to write that down in your notes. Make sure you're writing notes and not too distracted on other things. Corresponding vibration. It's what essentially the law of attraction is. Everything you want to experience is already here vibrationally. Now, this really was so important to me. Those of you that don't know my background story, I was an engineer in a cubicle. I actually went to school for aeronautical and mechanical engineering. Tons of schooling, tons of hard work, but I felt like I was dying in that cubicle. Anybody else felt that way? You're in a job, it's a dead-end job, you hate it, or you've been an entrepreneur, but you've been very frustrated with the results and experiences coming in? Throw yes into a chat box if so. I started to study at that point personal development, self-help, Think and Grow Rich, Power Subconscious Mind. I started to learn these materials. I started to go on YouTube and do my research. Every day that I was in the car, I'd listen to Audible with different audiobooks and really understanding much of this material. But the difference maker was I didn't just learn it, I applied it. And my sole focus was, how do I align myself vibrationally with what I want? Every day I thought about that idea. As I started to do that, I started to understand that there's an infinite number of timelines of different versions of myself or yourself. There's a version of you that has mega success. There's a version of you that doesn't have as much success. Whatever vibrationally we're aligned with is what comes into our life as we go towards it. So essentially, if I'm feeling into a 6-figure mindset, I will start to develop my skills, thoughts, feelings, and actions according to that. If I start to embody a 7-figure mindset, I will start to experience thoughts, feelings, actions, results on the physical plane according to that. So at that point in my career, I was starting to apply it, starting to understand it, but things weren't happening all the way. I started to experience some increase in results and well-being, but the money didn't come in all the way. And I'm going to tell you why a little bit later here. But essentially, what I start to focus on is that frequency. What is the vibration of what I do desire? Does that make sense for everyone so far? Throw number 6 into the chat box. We need to get into the frequency, the feeling, the vibration of the desired timeline, the desired future of what we do want. Now, this is a possible path you're on today. 6 different arrows here. So maybe you start right here at the bottom, and today you choose to be on today's masterclass or watching the replay. So you're here. And then you make a decision today to make sure you showed up on time that changed your direction here. And maybe right here you chose to do something else, a different decision. And so as you could tell, different decisions are leading you on a different possible course. It goes left, then right, then up, then sideways. There are other people that decided not to be on today's live masterclass. They got busy. They told themselves an excuse. They just felt like, you know what? I'm just so bogged down with life. I feel depressed. I feel down and out, those kinds of ideas. And their path looks like this. Instead of going forward onto the masterclass, they went sideways. Little small progress points. They're zigzagging. They don't know what direction to go in life. Maybe they do understand a little bit of direction, clarity, but they really don't know how to apply personal development and mindset all the way. So they're going back and forth. And then another possible person is taking big changes in their life, but they're going sideways. They take a big change over here, and then they change their career path from real estate to online selling, eBay, e-commerce, Amazon, whatever. And then they make another micro decision to say, I want to do any of that. I want to start coaching. And then that propels their career and they start writing books and speaking on stage. And then they make a difference. You see what we're talking about here is every decision you make today is going to change your timeline. Every decision you make today, every commitment you do is going to change what you experience in your life. So remember today's masterclass is how do I get 5X? How do I get to that level, that next level? How do I bring my life and business to that new level? Is this making sense for number 8 in the chat box? If so, every decision you make is changing the course of your life. Therefore, there are an infinite number of timelines and different paths and decisions and commitments you could be taking. Today, you could have said, I came on the masterclass with a cup of water. Or you might have said, today I brought a snack. Maybe you have an apple or some sort of snack on your desk. Or you said, you know what, today I'm going to wear a white shirt. Or today I'm going to wear a black shirt. Or today I'm going to go to the grocery store. Or today I'm not going to, I'm going to hire somebody on Instacart to do the grocery shopping for me. An infinite number of decisions that changes the trajectory of your life. Each time you make a decision, you change your direction. So to get to the 5X place, that middle path, we need to make decisions in harmony with the 5X. That's what I did. When I was stuck, like I was mentioning, in that cubicle and everything else, I left that and started in my entrepreneurial journey, but was failing all these different businesses, tried network marketing and affiliate marketing, all the different things you could think of. None of it worked out until Bob Proctor came into my life. And I decided and committed to becoming one of his top 10 coaches in the world. I did so within about 18 months of coaching under him. But I would have went on that left side, those red arrows, that's where I was. I was going nowhere. But it was because I was staying in the same frequency, the same familiar job, same familiar people, same familiar location, same familiar everything, same familiar vibration. Does that make sense? What I had to do was get to an unfamiliar vibration, something I am not used to, and that changed my timelines. So there's a mistake in this that says, I think that this life is the only one that exists. The wall behind me seems pretty real. The microphone I'm speaking with or speaking through seems pretty real. This cup of water seems pretty real. Seems like this is my only life. Anybody else feel that way? Throw number 9 in the chat box if so. It feels like this is the only life you have. This is the only thing. That's all you see. That's all you can sense. That's all you can feel. Like this is the only life there is. But the mistake in that is realizing there's many different, again, vibrational planes that will actually allow you to move and correspond your life to a new level. So the key to step number 1 is keeping this awareness. So what I would suggest right on this webinar here, masterclass, is if you have a phone next to you or you're on your phone, take a note on this, or take like an index card, a note piece of paper, and write down these notes every day. Keep them in your awareness that there's many versions of you that are possible. There are many frequencies that are possible, and your objective is to correspond with that timeline you desire. So you keep this awareness every day you move your life forward. Keep your awareness on this one thing. Now, that's what I started to do to generate an income of, I went from 0 to 10,000 a month, and then from 10,000 to 20,000 a month, from 20 to 50,000 a month. I started to make these jumps in income level by keeping this awareness that there's a version of me that everything is possible. And how can I align with that every day? Our second step here is deciding on what it is that you desire your parallel reality to be. Again, the image you could see in front of you right now, there's a version of you that is doing way better than you are today. You might not be able to see it, but you can sense it vibrationally. There's a version of you that's an amazing pianist. There's a version of you that knows 5 different languages. There's a version of you that's an 8-figure or 9-figure entrepreneur. That's 10 million plus, by the way. 9 figures is 100 million plus. There's a version of you that has none of that, but is really great at sports and higher athleticism than you are today. All these different states are potential states until you activate them, until you correspond with the states. So step number 2 is you're going to decide on that corresponding vibration. So part of the 5X blueprint here is you're going to write down 10 qualities of the corresponding world you want to be in. Throw one of those qualities into a chat box. For example, easy. I live in a world that everything comes easy to me. It's a quality of your experience. Another version, abundance. Everything you experience is abundant. Another quality you could write down, freedom. I experience freedom in this parallel world that I desire in 5X. Another quality, peace. I feel complete peace within, well-being. So go ahead and write down one quality that feels right for you, your desired parallel reality, the timeline you want. Write down one quality and throw it in the chat box. We got from Tammy, abundance. Kelly, we got every day I'm free to choose what I want to do. Vladimir, great to see you. Freedom. Kevin, enlightened. Jonesy, calm. Anna Brees, joy. Kevin, abundance. Christopher, abundance. Mark, empowered. Louisa, everything is always working out for me. A great Abraham Hicks quote there. Raphael, wisdom. Ping, real, secure, love. Bejat, freedom. Keisha, easy. Georgiana, abundance. Jonesy, courageous. Sinai, aligned with abundance. Margaret, abundance. Marisol, abundance. Candace, freedom. Arif, health and abundance. Cindy, fearless. Ricky, peaceful and abundance. Carlo, luxury. Zeemb, abundance finds me everywhere. Laura, happiness. Ed, opulence. These are amazing. Ping, real secure love. Metzi, healthy. Also, life is so easy, so good all the time. Antonella, free and peaceful. Greg, accomplished. Many more coming through here, so I won't go through every single one. We might be here for the next couple of minutes. But you could tell as a group, the last 20, 30 names that I just said out loud, all of you, you can start to see that's the world I want to be in. That's what I want to experience. That's the quality of the parallel reality I want to exist in. I want you to save that. Go ahead and write that down in your phone notes or on a piece of paper and pen. If you have a laptop that you're viewing this from, save that quality. It's going to come in handy for our blueprint. This is you today. You right now on this live masterclass or watching the replay, you're right here. And there's many different versions of you, like I've been mentioning. I just put those versions in different coloration. But when you draw those down on your piece of paper, you could do a dotted line, you could do a solid line, 2 lines, whatever you need to do if you don't have like colored pencils and crayons in front of you to colorize them. Just write those down that you have many different circles that are possibilities. Maybe one instead of a circle is like a crooked circle. Again, you're differentiating. There's different worlds in front of you. Each of these worlds, as an example, has different level of income. Bottom left, average $5,000 a month. That's an average American household income. Now, you might be around the world. Some of you are in Europe, some of you are in Australia, some of you in Canada, Mexico. We have many of you from all over the world. So just change your currency. If it's not US dollar, it's Canadian dollar or euro or pounds or etc. Rand, if you're in South Africa, whatever it is, go ahead and put your currency in. This is just an example. You could do this for love. You could do this for freedom, for peace, but this is easy an example of money. On the top, you could see 300,000 a month. Whether you believe this or not, every single one of these versions is possible for you, including the ones that aren't so good. How are you going to choose which one to go to and how to fuse with it is the question. So maybe right now you're drifting towards 30K a month. Anybody else at that level? 30K a month? Maybe you're at 10K a month, 5K a month, 0, 150K a month, doesn't matter where you're at. But just imagine this example that you're drifting towards 30K a month. That's where your potential is heading. What if I want to change it to 300K a month? 10x where I'm at today. What's the difference between here and here? In terms of parallel reality, in terms of vibration, correspondence. Anybody throw that in the chat box? What's the difference? Just throw one word between this frequency and this frequency. This vibration, this world, and this world. The only difference is, see a lot of you throwing in the chat box, alignment, belief, mindset, vibration, perspective, discipline, energy, identity, all of the above. And step 3 and 4 are the biggest points in this. What is the difference? We're going to be going through this. What's the difference between 30K, 300,000, and 50K a month? What's the difference in vibration, frequency, and identity? Because another mistake here, the second one, is thinking this life is the only one you're allowed to live. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to have a low income or a medium income or an average income, or even if you're earning 50K a month, you don't have to be there. You could be way better. If you have somewhat of some time freedom right now, you don't have to struggle in life constantly having things in your way, boundaries and limitations and different things in your way. This is not the only life you get to live. Anybody else believe that? Throw a number 10 in the chat box if so. This is not the only life you get to live. You get to live a way bigger possibility. But it's so easy to say that or think that, but not actually to see it. How many of us get so frustrated sometimes? It's like, I'm doing the affirmations, I'm doing the visualization, I'm doing the gratitude work, I'm trying to read the books, I'm trying to watch the motivational videos, right? I'm trying to do all this stuff, and I'm seeing mental progress. I'm seeing spiritual progress. I do. But the results, what's the link there physically? How do I change my timeline? How do I change this life where I'm at now to put it up here to fulfill my potential? So what we're talking about here is how to fuse with a different timeline. How do you do that on a consistent, predictable basis? That's part of the blueprint in step number 3, the identity. The image you see in front of you, I want you to soak it in. It's mystical. It's hard to understand. Each one of these marbles, worlds, spheres, whatever you want to call those objects, again, are possible futures. But they're distorted. You see how on the bottom there and the top, it's very distorting? You can't really see it. In fact, you don't really know where they're at. Our identity is what's going to connect you from this sphere you see, the biggest one, to the one maybe way back there. How you actually wake up tomorrow in a world with a lot more riches, wealth, and goodness. It's not magic. I'm not saying you're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be like a fairy tale where you wake up in a golden palace. It's not magic, but it's mystical. Because what does happen is if you can shift yourself from this sphere you see in front of you to one back there, you'll start to activate the opportunities, people, and things in your world to 5x your results swiftly, quicker than you think, and easier than you could ever imagine. Anybody else want that? Throw 1111, 4 ones, 1111 into the chat box if that's where you do want to go. Let me see that commitment. The identity is your biggest key. The soul is the multi-dimensional self, and it's experiencing all the versions of you right now. The 100K a month, 300K a month, 10K a month, 5K a month. Remember all those circles? The soul part of you, that essence, is experiencing all of them right now. Every single timeline potentiality. It's experiencing. And since you already exist as many different versions of you, it's just about vibrationally, the other versions exist. So if you are a soul, you're experiencing all those versions right now. You, at the highest point, your soul, your highest self, is experiencing all that. You, as a human incarnation, can drift yourself to a different timeline. I've been able to drift into specific timelines that I was in a space of completely unexpected miracle taking place, where the things that are so completely certain become so completely uncertain in a matter of moments. Things that never could happen happened in a matter of hours. Again, this is not magic. I'm not saying, boom, poof, $1 million showed up on my office table. That's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is the things that were like, there's no way that could happen. There's no way I could form an extra $100,000 this month or this week or this day, whatever it is. I dropped that belief, fused with a different version of myself, and things started to move forward that you could have never guessed would happen. You right now on this webinar masterclass can have specific amazing miracles happen by Friday this week. Or if you're watching the replay, whatever is 3 days from today. Does anyone else believe that's possible? If you don't believe it, don't throw a number 12, but throw a number 12 in the chat box. If you're just starting to believe, I do think that could be a possible thing. I don't know how. I don't know if that could actually work for me, but I believe it's possible. Yeah. We got Freddie, we got Fred, Bijat, Yodi, Jennifer, Tammy, Ricky, T. Lotus, Amberies, Sandra, Candace, Alyssa, Christopher, Keisha, Christina, Mark, Metzi, Laura, DW, Regis, 20 others coming through, 30 others. That's all you got to do is start opening your awareness. That was step one. Open your awareness to this possibility, right? We need to start experiencing all this. When we start working together long term, I'm going to help you shift that on a weekly basis so that you can start drifting yourself into a parallel reality. I'm going to do a shout out to one of my clients here, Ricky. I see you're on here. I've seen your name come through a bunch of times. You've done this. Ricky started with us around the springtime, early spring. He started with us in our lower level program first, and then he upgraded to the mentorship. He's went from no business at all to having a thriving coaching business. And I say thriving because he has a way and understanding now of unlimited marketing and lead generation, knowing how to do it, implementing it, and having it work, and having 5, 6, 7 calls generated with potential leads for his business in a matter of weeks. So you started from nothing in a parallel reality. Now you're a light years different. Now that's just one example of what's possible at a level where you could go from total uncertainty, having nothing going on, and then generating and quantum leaping into a world that all these things are moving forward. But it was only because Ricky followed the blueprint here, implemented, and became a different identity. If that didn't happen, Ricky would still be doing what he did in springtime. Minor example, but huge in the world of parallel realities and where he's ultimately going. Third mistake, forgetting that vibration is more important than the physical plane. I have to remind myself of this every day. So many times we're working. Anybody else get into that? Throw number 13 in the chat box or so. You're just like, you're trying to focus on work all day, generate, marketing or doing your job or getting a new job, having things go on, conflicts between you and your partner, trying to pick up the groceries or getting those groceries delivered, whatever it is. You're just so focused on getting through the day, doing your actions list and getting things done. And yeah, mindset's there, but it's like, if I want a result, I better just grind it out and hustle and just get some things moving. The biggest mistake is forgetting vibration is way more important than the physical plane. Throw a yes in the chat box if you will commit to remembering vibration is more important than the physical plane. Yes, action is a part of the process. It's required. It's not magic. Say the third time, it's not magic. It will be required, but it's not more important than vibration. Vibration is. 2 people can do the same actions for 12 months straight. 2 people can be in the same industry, in the same business, the same location, same economy. One thrives, one does terrible. One quantum leaps to 7 figures. One has business destructed because they made an excuse that 2020 came around, or that there was shutdowns, or things just didn't work out. Doesn't have anything to do with that. It was the vibrational timeline that person was on. So we want to understand, you may be only aware of one version right now, but that doesn't mean all the others don't exist. Even though you can only see me right now on the live webinar, it seems like this is the only version of Scott that exists. There's a million different versions of Scott that you can meet someday in the future that may be a slightly different version of me today. That's because I'm also transferring timelines. Pretty interesting to think about. What about your friends? If you have kids, if you still have parents around, spouse, partner, what if you could actually activate a different version or a different timeline of them? That might give you goosebumps. Throw a yes in the chat box if you think that's possible. What if you could activate a different timeline of you? What if you could activate a different timeline of them? What would that mean in your life? If you always have a certain partner in your life, what if you started shifting their timeline or shifting somebody you know's timeline? What would that look like? Something to think about. Time for another webinar, another time on that topic. But it's good to open it up. What archetype identity matches the corresponding frequency of your 5X life? This is really important to have jotted down. I see some of you in the chat box said it's already been done. You've already done that with somebody you've known. That's proof you could do that with anything you want in your life. So what's the archetype that will get you to 300K a month or 50K a month or 30K a month? Answer: the feeling. So you already wrote down a quality. The answer to the identity is a feeling. Identity and feeling are much the same. What is the feeling that corresponds with the 5X life you're looking for? Write that feeling down in the chat box. I give you examples here. 5K a month, bottom left, dull. Top right, 0 a month, things not working out, totally frustrated. Right-hand side there, 100K a month, feeling free. 300K a month, totally abundant. What's the feeling? We got Francesca, amazing. Cheyenne, happiness. Margaret, excited. Georgiana, ease and grace. Keisha, excited. Isabella, love and happiness. Laura, amazing. Carla, thrilled. Margaret, ease and growing with the flow. CM, free. Raphael, powerful. Yodia, 100K per month, luxurious. Vladimir, harmony. Freddie, happy. Kevin, accomplished. Christina, unstoppable. Luann, relief. Jesse, rich. Christopher, feel normal. Sinha, 100K, wonderfully happy. Alexa, energized. Patricia, security. Fred, relieved. Perfect responses coming through here. This feeling only comes about when you correspond with that identity. We're going to talk more about that in step 4 of like what you're going to be doing to do that. But part of the blueprint here is align with the qualities that you wrote down and aligning with the feeling today before anything changes. You are first spiritually a being. That means you yourself goes well beyond this world. You live in this physical body. You're not a body. You have a mind to help you do all the things on this physical plane. So you have the opportunity to correspond with that vibration, even when the results don't match it. Does that make sense? Or yes in the chat box. I have the ability to change how I feel, to change what I'm thinking before physical results change in my life. And that's the ticket. That's the way to go. That's how I have to get there to the corresponding vibration. Now, again, when we start working together one-on-one, you and I'm going to help you tap and tune into his corresponding world immediately. In the first 30 days, you should see a significant result happen in your life from this new correspondence. That's how the laws work. That's how the universe is going to adapt to the new identity you're in. I'm going to help you be doing this. Because remember, feeling and vibration are the same. To correspond with your 5X life, you need to match the feeling. So correspondence means I need to be in the feeling. Feeling or vibration precedes manifestation. What does that mean in simple terms? Feeling or vibrational state comes before a result, comes before you manifest something different. Throw yes in the chat box if you're willing to write that down and remind yourself of that daily. Feeling is vibration. Feeling is my conscious awareness of the vibration I'm in. My frequency level, my correspondence level has to do with the feeling. the state in which I find myself in most of my day. Step 4, release. The drawing you see in front of you has an element of secret. Can you find it? The world on the left and the world on the right, again, seem to be comparable a little bit. I mean, they're a little bit different of an image. But there's something secret about it. This division line in the center, seems there's something going on there. Can you find out what it is? What's the difference between the left and the right? What does that look like? What's the secret between these two worlds merging or actually diverging? The idea is certain aspects are released. Look at the image on the left, look at the image on the right. You can see that some of the, obviously it's an Earth, so some of the continent there, right, the land masses have been released from the right to the left. The left no longer has those brown patches, which obviously we know is countries in front of you. I get that. But in this analogy, the left only takes on more of the blue, the light, the white clouds, the white in the image. As it's diverging, it becomes two different timelines yet again. The timeline on the right has a lot of stuff you don't want. Timeline on the left has released it. Throw yes in the chat box if that makes sense. So allow yourself to really be in a spot that has in front of you this idea of releasing the old. There is no separation between you and another world except your limitations. So we need to start letting go of false beliefs and old programming that no longer serve us. We need to start evolving ourselves so that what you see is not so real anymore. It's an illusion, and your limitations are also not real, an illusion. I want you to look around your home, your office, your car, wherever you find yourself viewing this masterclass, and just look to yourself. It looks real, but quantum physics shows this is no more real than anything else out there. This is solid, yes, but at an energetic level, it's just made of mostly empty space. So look around you. Your eyes, scientific fact, your eyeballs are conversion instruments. They convert vibration into image through the brain. Ears, you can hear my voice right now. What is it doing? It's a vibrational instrument. My words, my vocal cords are vibrating, translating it through this microphone into your speakers and all the other stuff that goes in between there. And your ears pick it up as sound because it's converting vibration to something you can understand through your brain. Same thing goes with all the senses. So what you're actually seeing, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're feeling, tasting, and touching are no more real than what you see in front of you or around you or in the ether of the invisible. They're illusion. Therefore, your limitations are also an illusion. If I told you you can earn an extra 100K, 100,000 euros, dollars, pounds, whatever your currency is, by Friday this week or in 3 days, what would you say to that? Throw it in the chat box. Does a limitation come up? Does a belief come up? A possibility? Throw it in the chat box. What is your mind talking to you about? What is it saying? A lot of good ones coming through here. Different beliefs, unsureness. Wow, is it possible? No way, I can, yes. Many different ones coming through. Everything that we just wrote down is BS. It doesn't even matter. What matters is, can I correspond with the frequency? You today at 300K a month, or you today at these different levels. It's all possible for you, but we block ourselves with this limitation. It's almost like an invisible wall, a glass ceiling you hit yourself on. You don't understand why. You can't break through this paradigm, through this plateau, through this stuckness. And it's frustrating because you want to go there, but you keep slamming this brick wall. Does that make sense? Anybody else felt there before? Throw a yes in the chat box. Where it's like some sort of invisible force is keeping you down. It almost seems like the universe is trying to get you in a way, like it's like it doesn't want you to win. It's no matter what you do, it seems like you're trapped by your results. Try the new strategy, try the new marketing technique, try the new thing. It seems like you're just compacted by this feeling. A lot of yes is coming through. So how do we do it? What do we have to do? First, we have to get through this mistake that everything I believe is true. I want you to write down the opposite. Everything I believe is probably not true. Everything I believe is probably not true. Now, when it comes to manifestation, everything I do believe does become true, yes. But write this statement down. Everything I believe is probably not true. How do you do this? You start questioning yourself. Why do I believe this? Could I make 100K by the end of Friday, 3 days from now? Yeah, I probably could. If my mind says otherwise, why is it saying that? It's probably not true, whatever it's saying. Oh, I'm not good enough. Where's it going to come from? When's it going to come? Where is it going to come from? How are we going to do this? I don't even know. Right? Whatever that's coming into your mind, just tell yourself it's probably not true what it's telling you. It's probably scared, in fear, unknown. It's never done it before, so it's never seen that result. Has anyone else done something that you've never done before? Throw yes in the chat box. Everyone should be saying yes. You drove a car for the first time. You ate food for the first time. You rode a bicycle maybe for the first time. You drove an ATV or a motorcycle maybe the first time. Maybe you bought your first house. Maybe you bought your first car. Maybe you bought your first laptop. Maybe you have your first cup of water that you filled by yourself as a kid. Maybe you got your first cell phone. Maybe you got your first blank. Everyone has done something they've never done before, previously. But as adults, we grow up and start conning ourselves and saying, oh, yeah, I could do that as a kid, but I can't do that today. Oh, yeah, before I didn't have a job and then I got a job, or I didn't have a business, I got a business. And that was something I didn't have before. I tried it and, I'm doing it. But for me to double my business in a month, I don't know if I could do that. Those beliefs come from your childhood programming. It has nothing to do with who you are. We could trace all these themes back to your childhood. When else did you feel the similar way? So if you're feeling frustrated, trapped, stuck at a plateau, whatever it is, when else did you feel a similar way in your childhood? We start tracing back these memories. With all my clients, we do these healing exercises that release these childhood themes so fast that I've done a healing session with our clients, many of them in 15 minutes, and they feel better than they did the last 20 plus years in 15 minutes. So when you and I start working together, we're going to allow your broadening and to release this garbage, release these stuck themes and this stuff that no longer serves you in a matter of 15 minutes. Anybody else like something like that? Throw yes in the chat box that you would like to release maybe one of your biggest limitations and themes that are stuck in 15 minutes. It doesn't always work like that, as a disclaimer, because again, this is not magic. Some themes in your life, you're going to have to chip away at it. You may have to do that 15 minutes of healing 5 different times. You may have to do it 10 different times for some of your hardest trauma you went through in childhood. And by the way, everybody went through trauma. Some people, I get 50% of my clients say, Scott, I had a horrific childhood, terrible. I was abandoned, all these other things. And the other 50% say, Scott, my childhood was amazing. I was so loved. My parents gave us everything we needed and wanted, all of it. There was nothing that happened, childhood trauma for me. Trauma is not just physical things that have occurred. There are emotional things as well. These 50% of clients I work with that say they have great childhoods, I ask deeper. How were your parents? How were their relationship? Did they argue in front of you? Did they stonewall each other in front of you? What happened? What occurred? What about money? What about finances? What about the different things in your life as you grew up? Like all those, and then we start to uncover, wow, there's actually a lot of trauma that occurred. This portion had a different kind of trauma. This one does as well. It's emotional. So there's going to be a guaranteed theme. Every time, 100% of the time, if there's a limitation in your life, stems back from childhood, 100% of the time. Not sometimes, 100% of the time. After working with 1,600 people, every single one of them had something linked back to childhood. So we want to understand how and when did I feel this way? And it's just because past emotionalized thoughts get stuck in the mind that observes it. So in order for us to start breaking, remember that division and releasing, we need to understand, why did I feel that way? Where did it come from? And let me release it. So if there's any plateaus right now that you're experiencing, it's just because you have stuck thoughts. Does that make sense for everyone? Throw a yes in the chat box if so. That some of these past things that have occurred, whether they seem to be trauma or not. In fact, I had a client before. He just lost Monopoly because he was the youngest sibling all the time. And that actually became a trauma that I'm worthless. I'm never going to win at life. And that's how his business and his career went. By not winning Monopoly. That's how crazy these themes are in those ways, and how people say, no, childhood was perfect. Oh, no, it wasn't. There are certain things that we need to understand. These are here to help your soul evolve and have a calling to go through. It's the familiar, the certain, and the uncomfortable. You must do something radically different with your life. On this webinar, this masterclass, by the end of it, I'm going to suggest you do something dramatically different on this webinar. Something so profound that you would normally never do, something bigger than ever, and really allowing yourself to say, I'm here, it's stuck in this brick wall, I want to go here. You have to start entering that corresponding vibration that we've been talking about, which is a foreign territory. It's going to be unfamiliar. You're not going to know if it's going to work out. You're going to have uncertainty. You're going to have feelings of doubt and worry and concern. But the best people in the world, the highest level of success, whether that's career, relationships, health and wellness, freedom, are because they were stuck, but they went through the uncomfort to an unfamiliar vibration. Throw a yes if you're willing to commit to that. By the end of the masterclass, I'm going to figure out one thing I can do that would be so foreign to me. It's unfamiliar. I don't know, but I'm willing to do something about this so I can change my frequency. Sometimes it's like, you know what? Push the button when you felt like you're worried to push the button. Talk to this person about the thing that you've been worried to talk about. Make that decision and commit to our mentoring program because you've been like, I know I need this, but I'm so worried about different things, if it's going to work for me. Go ahead and do the action that you've been wanting to do. Start the business strategy that you know you should have been doing a long time ago. Grab that thing that you needed to do last week, but you just been prolonging, but you feel like, you know what, I got to do this thing for me. Whatever it is, take the dramatic action to move it forward. Write down 5 memories from childhood along with this, things that you know you need some healing on. So doing something radically different, allowing that self to be healed and moving forward is very important. Now, step 5, I want you to study this image very, very importantly. You see all the different colors, you see all the different versions of the earth there. What does this tell you? Ponder it for a moment. Different colors, the different ideas. The different colors and shapes and figures here represent supporting frequencies. Supporting frequencies. Your theme in life, in order for it to change, you need supporting frequencies. Supporting vibrational experiences to promote the corresponding world that you want to be in. That game changer that will take you from where you are today to 5x. Type in 5x in the chat box if you're still on to this. You're ready for the step number 5. You get what this is going. You need to have that colorful experience vibrationally. The blueprint are all the steps we talked about today applied at a 5x level. That 5x level will help you become one of my highest testimonials, just like you see in front of you, where people are quantum leaping to a level they've never seen before, or 5x, allowing themselves to manifest prosperity and money at a whole different wavelength than ever before. So it comes down to having the supporting frequencies to put this game plan into action. It's going to take specific actions every week. So this step-by-step 5x blueprint will allow you to say, here's what I need to do every single week to shift into that parallel world. While I'm getting specific guidance every single week to support me in that higher parallel reality. And then the frequency of a soul tribe carrying me to that next level. So these right here, these ideas are about the supporting frequencies you need to stay tuned in to that corresponding parallel reality that you wish. Remember, step number 1 was awareness. Step number 2 was starting to understand and decide on what it is you desire identity-wise. Step number 3 was figuring out what that identity is, having the qualities and feelings to align you with the corresponding frequency. Step number 4 is understanding how to releasing the old in with the new, taking gigantic steps, circling back to any recurring themes that stems from childhood and healing those. And step 5 is like a bubble around all of those, supporting you and uplifting you to tune in through 3 mechanisms: structure, guidance, and the environment. Again, these individuals you see in front of you, I want you to be one of them, one of our best, in terms of corresponding with a 5x frequency, a 5x reality, a 5x understanding of a multiple world in front of you, to shift your prosperity, your consciousness, your world into the desired parallel reality. Some of those steps that we do together, 15 minutes to help you release and stay tuned into that world and allowing you to move forward. Using this system that's been proven for over 1,600 people. So step 5 here is getting that system, because from here, every month for the next 12 months, you need the guidance, the system, and support to lift you up to that parallel reality and keep you there. It's easy on this webinar to feel inspired and say, you know what? Absolutely, I feel like I can zone into this. It's another thing to stay tuned in when you're not in this environment. When you have a million things to go on in your day, if you have kids, you got family demands, you got people calling you, all this stuff, it's not easy to stay tuned in. You need somebody in your corner stretching you to stay tuned in, to stay reprogramming, to stay in the parallel world so that in the next 30 days you could have a miracle happen. Because that's the power of staying tuned into your alternative parallel reality. The blueprint's repeatable. You get the results and use it again and again forever. On average, my clients will manifest between extra 500 and 5,000 in the first 30 days minimal. I've had some clients manifest upwards to 50,000 in the first 30 days. No matter what, use the system, get a result, and actually repeat it for a lifetime. Anybody else want a repeatable system? Throw a yes into the chat box. If so, that the blueprint, you would want something that no matter what happens in life, you're 85 years old, you're at the end of your life, but you can still manifest what you want, still get into a parallel reality that's amazing. Because the laws of the universe aren't changing anytime soon. The Facebook algorithm is probably going to change. The Instagram algorithm. Email is probably going to change at some point to not even being existent. But the laws of the universe and how you shift yourself from this reality to another are never going to change. Those are going to remain consistent. So if you know how to do it once, you can do it again and again. So I want to talk to you individually about this. Remember what I mentioned, us working together. I want to be able to provide you those systems and structures as a step number 5. to allow you to get to the next level. So you have all 4 steps. The 5th step is getting the aid you need to get and stay in this for the next 12 months. Because I guarantee you, if you commit to this 12 months from today, you will be in a world that you won't even recognize. You will be in a world that you feel so much more free and so much more peaceful and so much more amazing than ever before. You'll be in a world that you've stimulated your legacy and your potential better than ever before. You'll be in a world that you have so much more money that you don't even know what to do with it. You have at least 100K in your checking account, at least maybe 100K in your savings, or plus a lot more than that. They'll allow you to do what you want to do and having the freedom to do so. Many of our clients literally generate 10x the investment of the blueprint just within the first 6 months. Some do it 12 months, some do it 3 months. So it's up to you to make the decision to commit to allow that blueprint to unfold. We're going to chat for about 35 minutes. It will be the most valuable time you have in this entire year in 2023. I'm going to make the blueprint unique to where you're at, your current level of results, your current blocks, what needs to be released, and that desired feeling you want to go into. We're going to do this uniquely together. Throw a yes in the chat box if you would like a unique blueprint for yourself, like something that you can follow unique to you. Nobody else can follow, just you. And knowing the rules, the plans, the procedures to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis for the next year. The time to start planning 2024 is today, not New Year's resolutions after holidays. The time to start creating the year you want is right now, because shifting into a parallel reality will shift your results from now till then and start moving forward. We're going to discuss the blueprint. We're going to discuss the details about it and what it's going to be for you. And like I said, the most valuable time you'll spend this year, 100%. If you don't have somebody in your corner talking to you about parallel reality and keeping you tuned into where you want to go, you're at a loss, because it's ultimately struggling in life, trying to figure things out and trying to make something out of this. This is the easy path, shifting into a parallel reality that already has what you want, already has your desires, already has your intentions already done. And if it feels like we're a good fit, we're going to start working together to allow that 5x level to occur. So I want you to go ahead, and my team's going to put the link into the chat box now, manifestwithscott.com/ready. And I want you to go ahead and book a call with me. There's only 20 spots actually available here. Okay, so a link will be right there in the chat box.